Welcome everyone to Late Night with BS3. We have a special show on tonight. We will be talking about Vivo with my daughter here. Also, she's a special guest on tonight's show. Also, I'll be recapping the Cowboys and versus the Bucs, game 1 of the season. And then I'll be reviewing AZ's new album, Doe Or Die II. So we got some great things to get into. Before I go any further, today is 9/11. So I want to pay some respect to those that have passed away and those families that were affected. So continue prayers for those families and those people. And then also my uncle Bug, William Killian Jr., his birthday is on Monday, but my family is in North Carolina right now celebrating him. So I wanted to give him a shout out and just tell him I love him and appreciate him. So welcome, my wonderful guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ari, and and I'm glad to be on the show with my daddy. And today we're going to be talking about Vivo. And the first thing is that we're going to talk about what we liked about Vivo, and my dad's going to start. So here we go.
All right, awesome. All right, so kind of our overall thoughts. Vivo, first off, is on Netflix. Vivo is a Netflix movie. Shout out to the Virgos. That's Oma and Opa there, I believe.
Oh, they just said hi.
Yeah. Shout out to the Virgos for your birthday.
A birthday?
Vivo is a movie on Netflix. It is on there right now, and this movie is Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's a part of. He did Moana. Remember, he did Moana. Yeah, he was the guy that did the music for.
Did he do Molly?
Yes, I believe so. Also, he did. Hamilton, yes, he did Hamilton as well, which was a great. If you haven't seen Hamilton,
it was a great musical.
Yeah, yes, it's definitely worth watching. So Vivo is it's a musical. It's a kids movie, but and we're going to be doing this probably a little bit more in the future. We're going to be working together, doing some reviews, and she'll be coming on the show. We may do our own show separately, but we wanted to kind of come on and introduce her and go through some new things on BSC Radio. So my overall thoughts, I thought it was a really good movie. Obviously, it is a kid movie, but I really thought it had great music in it. It brought you all around to the very end of it, gave you those exciting moments and parts in the movie. Also, it was heartfelt. It had some really good aspects to it that I think everybody can watch it, even if you're an adult. You can definitely watch it. But Ari, what was your kind of initial thoughts about the movie?
So I like the starting part where they started to sing, and it was talking about Vivo. But my favorite part of it was where Vivo met Gabby, and they were doing this music on the boat. And I liked that part because it was really cool to hear and see how that was happening. And I liked the part at the end where she was doing the piano, because I like that it was just really musical, but it was really good. So that's what I liked about Vivo.
Awesome. So we got a couple of shout outs here. This is Miss Mocabella. Thank you for tuning in. Also, we have Claudia. Miss Claudia, thank you for tuning in. And Palante McLean. Everyone tuning in on the BSC Radio group. There's a little description and directions on what to do so we can actually see who you are. Right now, it basically shows kind of a blank face there. So you do have to give StreamYard permission to be able to to show you. So these are people from Facebook that are tuning in. These are friends of daddies that want to tune in and see what you have
we're
to
live
say.
right now.
Yeah, we are live
So
right
they
now.
can,
Yes. Yeah, they can see our.
They can see what we just did.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so kind of we wanted to talk about 5 things about the movie that we liked in the movie. And Ari, you said you liked when they sang. Is there a particular song
Yes.
that you liked?
So I have 2 songs. Can I do 2 or do I need to do 1?
You can say 1 or 2. And also the soundtrack is available on Apple Music. It's obviously, like I said, it's a kids movie, but the music is really good, really rhythmic. And but go ahead.
So my 2 favorite songs were the one where were one of a kind, and the other one is on drum, because first the one of the kind is just, it's talking about like how they met with how Vivo met
Andres. So
it was just talking about how they met, and I just like how the song was. So
yeah. So if you look behind Ari, you'll see that's Andres. So he's the older gentleman in the movie. And so basically Vivo, which you cannot see, well, let's scoot. There you go. Vivo's right there.
Yeah.
He's a Pikachu.
He's right? A Kikachu.
Kikachu.
That's some kind of monkey.
Right. So, and a Kikachu is not only in the rainforest. So the kind of idea of the movie is that Andres finds
finds Vivo because he was sitting down and doing
He was in a crate. He was in a crate, and he ended up landing in Cuba.
Yeah.
So finally, he ended up finding someone that could help him, and then they end up kind of having a little bit of a musical career. They would come to kind of the village or the center part of the village, and they would do kind of a concert, and people would give them money. So I'm telling you kind of the plot, but you can definitely go watch it and see it. But it's been out for a little while. So you get to kind of the point where Vivo and Andres is having a really good time. He's having a really good time, and they get a letter from someone named Marta.
Single Avo, which is
Thank you for tuning in, Mickey. We're doing great.
So
Marta,
and that was
go ahead. Okay, so Marta was Andres his longtime the love of his life, but he never got a chance to tell her that he loved her. They went on concert together, and he did a lot of things, musically together. So Marta ends up sending Andres a letter saying, "Hey, I'm doing my last concert, and can you come?" So Vivo again,
the Kikachu is mad because he's mad because he wants to stay where they were and keep doing the music.
Right, keep doing the music in the town where they're in. Yeah. So they came up with eventually they came to the idea that they were going to go to Miami. Yeah. They were going to go to Miami, and then they were going to determine that or join Marta with the concert. But, and like I tell my daughter in kids movies,
that does not happen every time. Yes. My daddy says that every time in every kids movie, someone dies.
Somebody has to go, and unfortunately, it was Andres to end up dying in the movie at the beginning.
Yeah, so after Vivo woke up, and he was packing, and he was gonna say sorry to Undress. Undress's hand opened, but it didn't stay, and the letter fell out.
Yeah. So in a lot of Disney movies, okay, if anybody has seen a Disney movie, someone eventually dies in the movie. It's just kind of the way that they put the movie together. Because they want, you gotta have someone, you gotta have a sad moment in order to have a happy moment. That's the way it happens in kids movies. I'm sorry if you guys weren't aware of that, but in a lot of Disney movies. So Andres did pass away in the movie, but I think the underlining moment is Vivo was going to go to Miami to give what did Andres?
So Andres wanted to go to the Mambo Cabana, but he couldn't because he died. So Vivo, he remembered when he said just to go to Miami just for one song. But then he remembered when he heard the one song that brought Andres and him together. So that's how now he wanted to go to the Mambo Cabana so that he could give the letter to Marta and give the song to Marta so that she could have a new song to play instead of having a sad song.
Right. So obviously Andres never made it because he did pass away, but that introduced a new character, which is
Gabby.
The
little girl, and that was Gabby's uncle.
So that was Gabby's mom's uncle.
And her mom said that her husband and the uncle were really close, and they lived in Florida,
Miami. Yep.
And Vivo followed Gabby in her music bag with all the music, and then they hurried, and then Gabby found out that he was following her, and Gabby went to the Mambo Cabana, but she bought tickets, but she didn't tell her mom that, and she just went. And when her mom found out what happened, Gabby told her why, because Andres never got to say that he loved her, just like Gabby never got to say that she loved her dad. So that was the sad part, but it was kind of a little crying moment.
Yeah, that was a sad moment.
It was a really sad moment, but then they got to actually be in the Mambo Cabana and see her seeing Marta do the piano and singing the song. So yeah. that was the sad and happy parts.
Yeah. So when Vivo met Gabby, they decided that they were going to go to the Mambo Cabana, which was in Miami. They were in Cuba.
Yeah,
So they had a long kind of trip, and there was a lot of things that happened in between there. We won't go into too much of details because that's kind of the meat of the movie. But you got to really see the different personalities. Again, Vivo is Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's his character, and then Gabby is a new character, and she also sings and raps. She's on the soundtrack, which is one of your favorite songs. We'll listen to that.
Yeah.
She sometimes wants to play that on the way to school.
Yeah. It's Bound to the Beat, which is which is the best song, and I wish I could play it right now, but I can't.
Yeah, but it was really I think a really good movie, and also I think it's one of those gives you the heartfelt. You may laugh during certain moments, and it's something that you'll definitely enjoy. So it's on Netflix. It's called Vivo, and they had some dancing moments in the movie. You did say you liked the dancing.
Yes, and there were 2 moments actually 3 moments, because in the third one, people actually saw like that they were dancing when she was doing the piano.
Vivo was dancing?
No, like when Marta was doing the piano, and he saw like them dancing. So
I think so. I remember that. Yeah.
So the first part where they were dancing was at the beginning with Vivo and
Andres.
And then the second part was when Gabby, the little girl, was dancing, but she was rapping at the same time.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She's good.
Yeah, big shout out to Courtney. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments and the likes and the thumbs up. But let me look up. Everything's good. Let me look up the young girl's name is. We're multitasking a little bit here. What is her name? Her name's Olivia.
Eva Shara.
Yeah. So we I don't think we have her name.
It should be
actually
somewhere.
no. It's
it's Yaria
Yanarli Simo. Yanarli Simo is her name. She's extremely talented. She plays the young girl of Gabby in the movie.
Yeah.
So kind of the end goal, obviously, they get the song that Andres wrote. They deliver it to Marta, and you can kind of see Marta over my shoulder. You can see her face. That was
right
Gloria and Stefan. So they finally got the song. I don't know, did she actually sing the song, or she just got the song delivered to her?
She got the song delivered to her, and she sang it, but she also did the piano with it. So
yeah,
yes, she did.
So it was a really good movie. I liked it. I know you liked it.
Yeah.
What was your
favorite part?
What was your favorite part? Yep, on the movie.
So my favorite part would have to be there was 2 parts. My favorite part was like in the middle with Gabby doing the rap part, and then my other favorite part was at the end where she was just singing the beautiful song. So those are my 2 favorite parts. So I'm gonna give it to Daddy. So what were your 2 favorite parts?
So one of my favorite parts was at the end when they finally got the song to Marta. Even though Andres wasn't the one that brought it to her, she knew who Vivo was. So
because she had the lady, she gave her the paper that the Andres died, but then she already knew who Vivo was because she saw it in the picture.
Yep, in the picture. So I really like that moment. Also, I like when Gabby came on the scene, because Gabby is a very energetic character,
and very good rapper.
Very good rapper. I would compare her to you. I think you're very, very talented, and
I'm a singer, but I'm not a rapper.
You can sing, yeah, not yet, but if that's something you want to do, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
All right. So, favorite song? Did you already say what your favorite song is? It?
Yes.
Okay.
What was your favorite song? I don't think you got to say.
My favorite song was "Love Pick You Up." What's
Yeah, with the birds. That was also my favorite song.
And the character of one of the birds is David Tyree. I believe his name is David Tyree, but he's a character that's been on a lot of different movies. He was on the show Atlanta. He was also on something else recently, but he's a really good actor. So it was some really great people doing the voiceover work. That's something that's always exciting to see. All right, so let's we didn't talk about this, but we're going to give the movie a rating, and we do this on the forecast show on Monday. Make sure to check that out coming up this upcoming Monday.
About that.
And so we're going to give a rating out of 5. So 0 being the worst, 5 being the best. What rating would you give the movie?
5.
5. Okay. Why?
Because of the 2 parts where Gabby is doing the rap, but also at the end where it's a sad but like a sad and happy moment, and that's why I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. If you had to choose 0 to 5 just to get the apartment,
I would give it a 5. It had all the really great moments of a good movie. So yeah, I would give it a 5.
So all the people who are watching this right now, if you would have to choose 0 to 5, which one would you do?
Well, we have to ask them if they've seen it yet. So maybe we should ask that. Has anyone seen Vivo yet?
Yes.
By a show of hands or by a comment you want to type in. Anyone? And that's from Omar Opar.
Oh, good job, Ari. I don't know. So
by a show of hands, and we'll keep talking as you guys are. Mocha Bella says I haven't seen it yet. Well, that's your homework assignment for the next time.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay,
that would definitely be a good movie to watch with my nieces and my nieces.
Oh,
nephews. No. Well, definitely go watch it. I think it's a good movie. I would give it. Did I give it my rating? I think I would give it a 5.
Yes, you did. You put it.
So it's definitely something that you should check out. Now, there's other movies that we are going to review in the future. I did a little bit of research, and there's going to be a Hotel Transylvania 4. Did you know that? Hotel Transylvania 4. There's going to be a.
Hey, can I say this one? I know which one it was.
What? What?
So there's a Hotel Transylvania 4, and another new movie. There's 2 other new movies. So if you have watched The Spirit Untamed yet, that's a new movie coming out. There's also Boss Baby 2.
Yeah, we have Luca. Now, Luca's already been out for a little while. Yeah. We probably won't do that one because that's been out for a little while.
But another one.
What's this right here?
Sing 2. There's Sing 2 there. There's also Peter Rabbit 2.
Peter Rabbit 2.
Yeah, The Runaway.
Yep. Addams Family. I don't know if you've seen the first one.
Yeah, I saw the first one.
So yeah, we're gonna review some movies coming up in the future.
And there's one more movie that actually already came out. So we're also going to be reviewing Descendants 4. Descendants. So my friend Gabby, she told me this, and I actually what are you doing?
You're reviewing Descendants 4 by yourself. I don't know if we can do that together.
So my friend Gabby at camp told me that there's a Descendants 4, and that night I actually searched it, but I did not see it anywhere. And the other time I asked her if she was just kidding, and she said that was for real. And then I searched it on my phone, and there was actually a Descendants 4 coming out, but it was actually already out. And I saw the trailer. It wasn't really a trailer, but Descendants 4 is coming out. Well, it's out, so we're going to talk about that, but when we actually find it. So that's another movie.
So we have some reviews coming up we're going to do. If you guys want us to review a kid's movie, put it in the comments, or you can send me a message on social media, and we'll do that. Well, they can't send you a message because you don't have like a phone number, but they can send it to me and I'll share it.
I know I can send me a message.
Yeah, if they have something, yeah. But I will send anything you guys want us to review.
Yeah,
we'll be doing that in the future. So this is the the Ari and Daddy show. And Ari is going to step away now, and then I'll be talking about the Cowboys. Oh, you gotta say bye first. Talk about the Cowboys versus the Bucs, and then AZ's new album. So, give us a little bit of an outro or something you want to say to the people. That's when you say bye.
So,
like your speech, goodbye speech.
Yes. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for this. Thank you for watching the show, and see you next time on Ari and Daddy's show. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. So thank you guys for tuning in to the segment. I think Ari did a great job. I'm gonna take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about Cowboys versus Bucs week 1. Cowboys end up losing. I don't know who's surprised or who's not surprised, so we'll get into that in a minute. We're gonna take a musical break. This is a song called "Sail Away" by an artist named Strike Boogie, and then we'll get into our next segment of the show. Thank you guys.
But I promise you there's light on the other side.
All right, welcome back to welcome back to Late Night with BS3. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. I had the Ari and Daddy segment of the show as we reviewed Vivo movie on Netflix. Definitely something that you should check out. So we're going to switch gears and we're going to go over to the Dallas Cowboys, who lost to the Bucs 31-29. Want to get people's thoughts on that, if you're surprised or not surprised. I thought it was, there's no such thing as a moral victory, obviously, but I do want to say that these Cowboys played a lot better than what I thought, okay, and what a lot of people thought. And thank you to my cousins, Sierra and Tracy. Thank you for that comment, and appreciate that. Also, Gladys, thank you for tuning in. We were just taking a break. We are back talking about the Cowboys versus the Bucs. And, I'm not – I was surprised on how well Dak played, because Dak, obviously coming back from this injury, I was really curious to see if he was going to have any type of lag, any type of issues. But honestly, he came back cooking. There's no other way to go around it. He came back cooking and ready to play, and it was down in, down out. He didn't appear as if he had any issues, and I think that was one of the major parts of this game. So Bucs end up getting the ball in the first. Cowboys got a stop on defense. That was extremely, I think, an extremely major moment in the game, because playing against Tom Brady, you don't know what exactly is going to happen. You don't know how well they're going to play in that first drive, and they made a defensive stop. Also, those of you tuning in on YouTube, first of all, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. And as you're tuning in on YouTube, you can help support BS3 Radio with stickers or chat. There's a $sign that's down below at the bottom of the screen, and you can support BS3 Radio in that way by clicking that $sign there and helping out and supporting. So, but thank you all those for joining in, tuning in on all the platforms that we're on. We're live right now on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on Twitter and Twitch. So we're live on a variety of different platforms. So thank you guys again for your continued support. Brady's the GOAT. Shout out to my man Aiden. He said Brady's the GOAT. There's no doubt about that. The football GOAT, he definitely is that. I mean, at this point, with all the championships he's got, with all the rings he's got. But the Cowboys played, again, a lot better than what I thought they were. Dak looked smooth early. It was so good to see Dak back too. Even if you're not a Dak Prescott fan, or you're not a Cowboys fan, it was good to see Dak back. All that amount of time he was off, it was really good to see him. Anthony Brown, I wanted to really pose this question. Why is Anthony Brown still on this team? And people said, oh, well, who's going to replace him? You got some rookies that are there, Nashawn Wright, and also you have Kelvin Joseph. And I just put in my notes, like, man, we need to get these rookies up to speed, because not only did Anthony Brown get burnt, he got abused, and this isn't the only time this has happened, okay? Let's not act like, oh, this is the first time Anthony Brown's ever been in this type of situation. He's been burnt numerous times over the past couple of years, and I think we're starting to, for me, it's starting to be even more of an issue, because this isn't the first time we've seen this happen. And we can't just continue to say, oh, well, maybe it'll get better. Obviously, it hasn't gotten better yet. So when do we think, or when are we expecting, it to get better is my question for all Cowboys fans out there. When are you expecting it to get better? Because it hasn't happened yet. Tampa Bay scores first. So it's 7-0. Had a little bit of trickery in the first with Tony Pollard. That was exciting to see, and I think it was a well offensive game that was called. The only issue I would say is that Zeke didn't get as many runs as he probably I think should have had, but I think this was a more of a statement game for Dak. I think there was a lot of intention on him throwing the ball to really show what he has. Dak to CD, Cowboys scores 7-7. Tampa Bay scores Tom Brady to Gronk. That was a party that was going on all night long. That was a party going on. Him and Gronk just pretty much connecting. Again, Anthony Brown, there's nobody on this Cowboys team that could cover him. And also, I think when it comes down to Tom Brady, he is going to figure out a way to, abuse whatever that team is that he's playing against. He's going to find a way to abuse them. And that was, that was something that pretty much happened here. So I do think that the Cowboys had a lot of chances to win in this game. And I think one major aspect and one major point is that they could not score in the red zone. Okay? This is the NFL. And when you're in a game with the Tampa Bay Bucs with Tom Brady at the helm, you have to figure out a way to score. You cannot get into the red zone multiple times. And then I am 100% upset with Zerline for missing the kicks that he missed. And then you try to get him to kick a 60-yarder. The dude's confidence is already shot. What makes you think he's going to make a 60-yarder? I honestly didn't get that at all. You might as well would have been better off just going for it. So there was a lot of special teams was extremely questionable in this game. And the major aspect and point of that was Zerline for, missing the field goals that he missed. Let me go to his exact. He went 3 for 5. He made a 48 long field goal, but it's unacceptable. I know he had back surgery. Well, if he had this is the part I don't understand. If you had back surgery, why not sign another kicker in the interim until Zerline's 100% ready to go? Don't make excuses. He also missed an extra point. Thank you, Aiden. So how do I feel about Gallup's injury? He definitely will be missed. I do think it's gonna be they'll have some wide receivers that can fill in, but Gallup's talent is awesome. So he's gonna be missed. I think you're gonna see a lot of Cedric Wilson, which you've seen a little bit of him in week 1. Obviously, you're gonna get a heavy dose of CD. You're gonna get Amari, who had a great game. You're also gonna get maybe a Noah Brown. You may see him get in there a little bit. But with Amari having 139 and 2 touches, CD having 104, you're going to see Dalton Schultz going to get some of those catches. Zeke should be getting some of those catches. So they'll figure it out, but I think he's going to be missed for the next 3 to 5 weeks. Also, he missed an extra point as well as 2 field goals. It's unacceptable in the National Football League. Okay, it's just that, to me, it's just that simple. Especially when you're in a situation like this where you had multiple opportunities to win the game. Okay, it wasn't as if this was a blowout, because it wasn't. It should have been. If we're all honest with ourselves, it should have been a blowout on the Cowboys' end, but they could not capitalize in the red zone, and that's a major problem and a major issue. All right, so will the Cowboys respond? They were down 14-7. Zerline misses a field goal. Jalen Smith. This was, I think, a very exciting part about this game is the Cowboys defense played better. They played better this game than I would say all the games combined from last year. They played better in this game than all of the games from last year combined. I don't think I'm telling a lie. I think I'm telling the 100% truth, because they had so many So many struggles last year. It was really out of this world. It was just wild of all the multiple struggles and issues that they had. So I think when it comes down to it, this defense is going to definitely win them some games in the future. It's 100% going to win them some games. Jalen Smith with the punch-out fumble. Randy Gregory recovers. Dak to Amari, it's 14-13. Plenty of option at kicker. I agree with you, Aiden. It's a lot of options at kicker. But unfortunately, when we let Dan Bailey go, there became issues with that. When he left, it was almost like they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. I don't think they really had, I don't know if they really had a solid plan, because then they brought the guy in from Australia. That didn't work out. And now they bring in Zerline. Zerline's previous team didn't want him, so it makes you think he's going to be a great destination here. So it's a lot of people just say, oh, it's the Cowboys and they do what they do. But they played this game. They played different than what they played last year. Obviously, you can say the run game, not getting Zeke the ball, not scoring in the red zone. Those are two things that we can relate to last year. But I do think the defense was playing big. Lots of poor turnovers by the Bucs. Yeah, I agree. Uncharacteristic of the Bucs too. Donovan Wilson gets a tip ball interception off of Fournette. Cowboys with a field goal. That was another time they were in the red zone and they had to kick a field goal, 16-14. Tom Brady at AB, 21-16. That was one of those plays with Anthony Brown. Second interception before the half. Basically, Brady was just throwing a Hail Mary. So I get it. That's something that you're just going to end up giving away, which I think he pretty much did. Zeke with 4 carries at the half. That was a lot of conversation, which it should have been. Zeke is your lead back. He's a workhorse. He came in the offseason, was ready to go. So I think one of two things. Number one, he was getting swallowed up all night long. So why continue to force something if the passing game was working? I think also this was more of a statement game that they wanted to put a stamp on for Dak, and the passing game was cooking. So at some point, you got to say, are we going to try to run the ball and we're not getting anywhere, or are we going to do what we can do in the passing game, which was killing? So Cowboys received the ball, Dak and the Cowboys driving. It was a beautiful drive. They got all the way down to the red zone, and guess what they had to do? They got to kick a field goal, 21-19. If you rewind back, it should be, 35? It should be 35-19 at this point if they would have scored 2 touchdowns in the red zone. Defense makes another stop. And the question of the night was, can the Cowboys score in the red zone? The other question of the night was, can we kick a field goal? Both of those things. And then also giving up some heavy plays to Brady, which those were going to happen. So I'm not necessarily surprised of the big plays, because Brady's going to get some big plays. He's going to get some passes to Gronk. So Dak with the interception, tip ball off of Lamb. A lot of people were ready to point the finger at Dak, but honestly, the fact of the matter is that football went through CD's hands. That should have been something that he should have caught, and that is something that he normally does catch. I don't know what happened during that situation, but that's a ball that you have to catch. You have to. It's zero excuses, especially in a game like this, when you know the way it's trending, it's going to come down to the end. Let me see. Tom Brady to Gronk again. I believe Gronk had 3 touchdowns on the day. Let me go back to the stats here. He had 2 on the day. I thought he had 3, but he had 2 on the day. Dak to Amari. They go up 20, or it's 28-26. They're down by 2. Aiden says, Bucs have great run defense. Pollard was brought in quite a bit. as a better receiving option out of the backfield. Zeke will probably get more of a typical workload next week against the Chargers. I agree with you 100%. If you have Zeke, which I'm facing in my fantasy league, I'm facing a guy that started Zeke. Obviously, Zeke didn't have that great of a day. So I'm upset and I'm happy in the same. I want to beat this guy in my fantasy league, but also I want Zeke to be able to get the touches. But Zeke is a nice receiving option too. Now they brought in Pollard, and I think Pollard is also the reason why they bring in Pollard, because they don't want to overwork Zeke, being that they paid him that big time contract. Thought Zeke still looked quite well, looked quick, explosive when he was given lanes to run. I agree with you, Aiden. I agree with you 100%. He did look, 2000, what was that, 18, 19, and it's definitely he's been ready to play. Cowboys 2-1 on time of possession. So when you talk about in football, if you're able to run the clock out and you're able to score, that doesn't give the offense the ball, obviously, but also it wears down the defense. So they was running out the clock, but they just could not score in the red zone. Cowboys get a fumble recovery caused by DeMonte KZ. These Atlanta pickups, DeMonte KZ with the fumble recovery has been major. Keanu Neal, I'm not gonna say he had any wow plays, but I think his presence, he had 2 tackles. So, his presence was there. But I do think DeMonte KZ and Keanu Neal is going to have an impact as we get further along through the game, further along through the season. Excuse me. Shout out to my man, Mackie McDuffie. Thank you for tuning in. He said, at the end of the day, you can't leave time on the clock for Brady. That's facts, man. That's straight facts right there. You get all the way down to the end, and if you give Brady any amount of time, they left way too much time on the clock. I knew it was over. I was hoping somehow they were going to, make a play. But Tom Brady's done this millions of times, okay? This isn't the first time he's had 1 minute 24 left to go. He's done this so many times. It's like clockwork for him. It's no worries. It's no confusion. It's no, I don't know what I'm doing. He's done it so many times that it's a wrap. 4-minute drive for Dak. So they end up getting down, and Dak to CD with a big-time play. Again, not scoring in the red zone. They had to kick a field goal. They go up by 1. You leave Tom Brady with 1 minute, 24 seconds. What do you expect is going to happen? Even though this defense played well, when you give the ball to Brady with 1 minute, 24 seconds left to go, I don't care who it is. 9 times out of 10, he's going to end up winning that game. Brady drives for the win. Here's the underlining question, folks. Here it is right here. Was that a pass interference on Godwin? I'm going to say yes, but I think Jordan Lewis flopping like that didn't sell it well. If he would have just failed normally, like a normal person, I think it would have been fine, and the call would have been called. But him all doing all that, I think he oversold it. And obviously there was some pushing back and forth. But at the end of the day, don't give Tom Brady, like Mackie said, do not give Tom Brady that time to begin with. Score in the red zone. Like, we love to talk about the last plays of the game, but what we don't like to talk about is the other, 40 minutes. We don't want to talk about that part of it. We just want to talk about the last couple minutes of the game. And the bottom line is, if you would have scored in the red zone, this game would have been over a long time ago. Cowboys overall played quite well. Only reason Bucs won, in my opinion, was because of the 4 notable receiving options on the Bucs. That all needed to be covered. Evans was locked up quite well. Gronk, AB, Godwin. Yeah, you're right. He has the weapons. And they added in Giovanni Bernard. And he's a receiving threat too. All right, so Buccaneers win 31-29. A lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. There's no such thing as a moral victory, but you have to say, if you're a Cowboys fan, you got to say, watching this in this game, you have to say that this is a good first game for the Cowboys, because normally they come out here, they really don't play well, they look lost, and this was a statement game for the defense. Cowboys really lost this game. They outplayed the Bucs. They did. Dak outplayed Tom Brady. Okay, obviously Tom Brady's going to be on the. Obviously, he's going to be on the stats, and he's going to be the major person that they're going to put out there because they won. But Tom Brady had better. Dak had better stats. Shout out to Al High. Thank you for tuning in. He had better stats. He threw more times. It was 42 for 50. He threw the ball 58 times, and that's a lot, especially what they were talking about with the shoulder. But 403, 3 touchdowns and a pick that really should have been caught by CD. Tom Brady with 2 picks, 379 on the day. Mackey with the comment said, no, it wasn't pass interference due to the fact that his momentum made him fall. Yeah, it could have went either way, but you make those early field goals, game over. Don't leave the game in the ref's hands. Exactly. That is more so the issue. The issue is not, was it pass interference? The issue was you should have scored in the red zone. You should have had a kicker that can make kicks. Why is it always, always is a strong word, but why is it often that the Cowboys get caught in a situation where they got to make a field goal and they don't have the guy that can make a field goal? This is the NFL. This is 2021. The game comes down to field goals, okay? That's not like we didn't know that. The game comes down to field goals sometimes. You have to have a reliable guy. If Zerline had back surgery or whatever, make sure he's ready or sign someone else until he's 100% ready to go. I'm tired with the excuses on in the special teams, especially in the kicking game. So Ryan Suckup hits the game winner, 36-yarder. It was absolutely perfect. Brady put that in the absolute best spot for him. He couldn't have gave it more of a better way than to put it at the left hash, right where Suckup wants it, kicks the field goal, game's over. And that was a great opener too. Even if you're not a Cowboys fan, if you're not a Bucs fan, that was a great opener that people watched. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but I do know that was a game that people watched because of just how well the game was, how it went down to the end. It was Tom Brady versus Dak. And I want to point a finger at Dan Orlowski on the 4-Letter Network. And he comes out and says, well, it's unreasonable to think Dak can come back. Dak must have heard that comment because the way he lit it up, he looked like he never had any issue. And I guarantee you, Dak's one of these players, if you watch Hard Knocks, if you know anything about him, that he worked extremely hard to get back. And when he got his next opportunity, it wasn't going to be him. It wasn't going to be him having a bad outing. That's just plain and simple. He was 100% ready to go. And the kicks, man, having a deal with Jordan, well, he basically can have, he probably gets Jordan shipped to his house every month. And then you got the Jordan cleats, which I think is dope. But it was good to see Dak back. So my offensive player of the game, I'm not doing I'm talking strictly Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm going to talk Cowboys. Offensive player of the game was Dak, obviously. 403, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The defensive player of the game, I'm going to give this to Jordan Lewis. He had 1 interception, had 2 pass deflections, had 2 tackles, also had a fumble recovery. And people thought he shouldn't have been on this team. One of those people was me. But I do have to say, man, he showed up big time. Dak looked comfortable out there as well. He did. He looked like he was never injured. He just looked like he came back like, yes, it's no issue for me. There was 1 sack in the entire game. Believe that. They didn't get to Tom Brady. They got some pressure on him. There was one of them where it should have been a sack, but it didn't. He didn't end up falling to the ground. That was that one, and he was falling. And he ended up throwing the ball to the sideline. but there was one sack by Shaq Barrett. Connor McGovern wasn't bad. That was one of the headlining stories. That was one of the major stories. What's going to happen when Zach Martin's out? And Connor McGovern played. I think he played well. We should have Zach Martin back. Here's the problem. Here's the problems with these Dallas Cowboys, though. Gallup's out for 3 to 5 weeks. Aiden brought that up earlier. I think we're going to see a lot of Cedric Wilson. Obviously, CD, Amari. You're going to see Dalton Schultz getting some catches. You're going to see Zeke getting some catches out of the backfield. You may see Noah Brown. They're probably going to activate him. He's one of those guys lower on the depth chart. But La'el Collins is suspended for 5 games. This completely caught me off guard. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting to see or hear about this headline, but supposedly he's going to be suspended for 5 games. Now, there is a conversation of his agent appealing this. Now, I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't know if anything's going to come of this, but La'el Collins, if it's something that he did wrong, you cannot put your team in this situation. Okay, you're needed on the offensive line. You know that you're needed for the run game. You got to protect Dak. And so if this is something, and I'm gonna play both sides. If this is something that he did wrong, then shame on him if he knows better. If it's something that he did not do wrong, and the appeal is warranted, and the appeal is granted, then okay, he should not be suspended. So we'll see where this goes. I think, at least for me, I was completely caught off guard. I didn't think he had any issue. His agent blasted the NFL and said that the suspension is appalling. So hopefully they can make something happen because he's going to be needed. He's going to be needed. So that is the end of week 1 for the Cowboys. And Cowboys lose. They're 0-1. They'll be going to SoFi Stadium in LA to play the LA Chargers. That still sounds weird for me to even say that. But they're going to be playing the LA Chargers coming up next week. I think based on how they played on Thursday, this should be a win. They'll be playing, like I said, in LA. So they won't have a home game until, I believe, week 3. Let me go to the schedule. So they play the Chargers next week. They play the Eagles, of course. They play the Eagles at home. That should be a good game. I think a great matchup. I'm 100% looking forward to that. But Cowboys had I think, a great performance. It was in a loss, but I think they had a great performance. How'd you like Micah Parsons? I liked Micah Parsons out there a lot. I liked how he played. This guy, obviously this is I'm about to say one of those things that people say all the time about top prospects or, top guys, but he definitely has what they call a motor. It is nonstop. He was all over the field. He was blowing up gaps. He had 3 tackles, 4 assisted tackles. Didn't have a sack or interception, but he was rushing the passer. He was all over the field. Micah Parsons, I think, will be the defensive rookie of the year. It's all there. And he's going to get the playing time because you could see that there wasn't a ton of my man drawing a blank out, Vander Esch. Also, you're going to see less and less of Jalen Smith. Getting Keanu Neal in there. So I think I liked how he played so far. I think he was definitely a bright spot. I think he'll continue to play better. And this defense, mark my words, this defense will be 10 times better than last year. Just because I think Dan Quinn has a different game plan than what they had before with the previous coach. Which that was McCarthy giving his buddy a job, and you can't do that in the NFL if you want to win. And he gave his buddy a job, and obviously that experiment did not work. This defense is going to be a whole lot better. Offense is already good. As long as they don't make any stupid mistakes, as long as they don't make any fumbles, as long as their players catch the ball. But the Tampa Bay played extremely well. Their defense is locked down. Devin White, Levante David. There was a couple of picks that should have happened on a couple of throws by Dak, but overall, Dak had a tremendous game. All right, so we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to our last segment of the show. We're going to talk about AZ's new album. It's called Doe or Die II. I've been looking forward to this. I've listened to the album, I think, 3 times at least. So we're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk AZ's new album, Doe or Die II. We will be right back. That was a promo for the forecast, which comes on Mondays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 10 Eastern. And coming up this next, actually on Monday, we'll be reviewing the documentary called The One and Only Dick Gregory. So that'll be coming up on Monday. So tune in on all of these platforms that we're on right now. Like I said, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on Twitch, we're live on a variety of different platforms. So AZ, if you don't know who that is, look it up. But AZ, dope, New York rapper, has been doing this for a minute. He was featured on Nas's debut album, and he's been around. He's been around for a while. He has one of the smoothest flows of any rapper that's out, just plain and simple. One of the smoothest flows out. I definitely would compare him to Nas. I do think AZ just didn't get, I think, the major pub behind him. He didn't have, and he was on Life's a B. He was on Nas's debut album, but I think when it comes down to AZ, he just didn't have that major label backing. He was also a part of The Firm that was with him, Nas, Cormiega, which ended up being Nature, and then Foxy Brown, which is one of the best duos or best groups that have ever been put together. I hope they come out with something else in the future with them, kind of reuniting on Nas's last album. So AZ came out with Doe or Die II, and it was on his Quiet Money label. So we're going to get into this review here, and I'll be definitely doing more music reviews as we continue to go along throughout this year. There's a lot of dope artists that's out there, man, that should be getting a lot more love than what they do. So I'm gonna be here to kind of give those guys that publicity and pub that I think they deserve. So AZ, Doe or Die II, had 13 tracks on the album. We'll go down each track and talk about it. I'll give it my review. The first track was Conversations with God. It was an intro. How we rarely have albums now with intros on it. Okay, normally a lot of albums, at least I listen to, normally they just get straight into it. But it's rare that you get an album with an intro that kind of gives you, okay, this is going to be the feel of this album. And a lot of times you don't get that. But AZ brought that. I also had Idris Elba talking in the background, which I thought that was a great. Just my screen here. I thought that was a really great feel and a great aspect of the album. So he brings him on, does an intro. I thought that was great. Just for You, one of those tracks that I enjoyed as well. Had some really good production on this album too. I think that's one thing about AZ is that he's going to give you that production. If there's not really anything, that's going to be a very major part of the album. So, from top to bottom, I think the production was done well. We had Bink did some production. Bink from if you don't know, he did a lot of production during the Rockefeller era for Jay-Z. So Just For You was produced by Bink. I like that track, and there was quite a few tracks that I enjoyed, off of this album, and it's definitely something that you could ride to. The one thing, and I'll get this out the way now, the one thing that I did want was a Nas feature. I get it, so it did not happen, but I think the album was good even without that. This is one of those albums that we needed. I think the hip hop culture needs it. I think the culture period needs it. I think we have different genres of music, and I'm not going to hate on either one, but a lot of the stuff that's out now is just not for me. So when a Nas drops an album, when AZ drops an album, and when anything Griselda, when Griselda's drops something, it's 100% worth 100% worth listening to it and getting it on Apple Music or however how you listen to music. So Just For You was produced by Bink. Then you had The Wheel. This is produced by KG. And this had Jaheim on it. Had a really good feel to it. Hadn't really heard Jaheim on anything. And one thing about this album is AZ is giving you dope hooks the entire album. All right. There's not one song where you're like, oh, that hook was horrible. Every single hook on here is fire. He's just one of those guys he is fire and dope with the pen. Some people have it, some people don't. AZ is just one of those that's just dope with the pen. All right, so Rep the Real. This was produced by Baby Paul. I wasn't the biggest fan of this song, honestly. This is one of those where he could have taken off. I thought it was okay. I thought that was you're gonna have every single track is not gonna be dope in a lot of instances, but that's one that I would probably skip. Going down to the next track, you had Never Enough. This was Rick Ross was on this one. This was produced by Baby Paul. If Rick Ross is on anything, it's gonna be worthwhile. Rick Ross is just one of those that when he gets on the track, he elevates any track that he's on. There's not a song you listen to with Rick Ross on it where you're like, why did they put him on there? It didn't sound good. And he's been featuring on a lot of albums lately. But in the hook, it's talking about never enough. And that's so true, man. In today's world, it's never enough. You may get one thing and you think, oh, I thought that was going to make me happy. Things are not supposed to make you happy. But it ends up being never enough because then you want the next big thing. And that's kind of what he's saying in this on that track. Different. This was one by A1 Beats. It was one of the singles. I definitely was feeling that. Definitely one of those head bobbing type tracks. One of my favorite tracks on the album was The Ritual. This one had Lil Wayne. Had one of my favorite rappers out right now, Conway the Machine. And it was produced by The Alchemist. The Alchemist, an Alchemist beat when it comes on. I didn't even have to look. Plus, he's got his tagline that he puts in there, but I didn't even have to look. I knew this was an Alchemist beat. As soon as that intro came in, you knew it was an Alchemist beat because there's always something unique about his. Anytime he puts anything out, and he's probably one of the most sought after producers, maybe on earth. Besides him and probably Hit Boy is another one. But anything, people want to work with him. They want to do solo projects and mixtapes with him. He's just got that extreme talent. So it was called The Ritual. Lil Wayne, at the end of the song, he had a line where it said, "I've been listening to AZ and The Firm since y'all was a worm." Lil Wayne's always gonna give you one of those classic liners. He is king of the punchlines. He will definitely give you that. Bulletproof, another Bink produced track. I was definitely feeling that one as well, and had a very cool intro to that song. And he had some hooks on here, man. He had some crazy hooks, especially with the female voice. He went Doe or Die. He went back to that original album, which was over 25 years ago. Over 25 years ago. And he gave you that similar feel to what he did that long ago. Because he was saying a lot of people was wanting him to drop another album like this or wanting him to do something similar to this. And he definitely did that. He definitely went back. And one thing I remember about AZ, and also he had similar production. Buck Wild, who did production on this one. Pete Rock did production on the Doe or Die, the first one, and the second one. One thing I always remember was that video where he got buried. I think he was getting put in a coffin and they were putting gold bars or gold chains in his coffin. That was, I believe, from Doe or Die. That video is just something that stuck in my head from that era. The next one was Get Money. This was produced by Buck Wild. Had Dave East, who's a nice artist that's out right now. And on the hook, it was kind of a play on that Swiss Beats produced track for T.I., which was voiced by Jay-Z, basically saying, bring them out. It's hard to yell with the barrel in your mouth. It had that kind of that vibe to it. He was using different words, but it had the same cadence. So that was definitely one of those top tracks on the album. He also had Check Me Out, which was produced by Pete Rock. This was that was a fire beat. Definitely something this is an album that you have to listen to. Okay, it's good for the culture. It's good for hip hop. These type of albums, like I said, a lot of music that's out right now is good for music too. But for me, these type of albums are good because it's giving you that era of rap that was at its best. When you had Nas, dropping an album every couple of years. You had AZ, you had Jay-Z, you had Biggie, you had Tupac, you had Snoop. You had so much good rap going on that I don't think we have that right now. Maybe we do, and maybe it's just not as widespread as what it was. But some top artists right now, which he had on this album, Conway, Benny the Butcher, another dope artist that's out right now. There's a lot of artists out right now that's giving you top quality hip hop. There's some that, in my opinion, are not. So these are just good for the culture. He had Time to Answer. This was Heatmakers produced this. I was disappointed in this beat. I'm sorry. It had the openings of a great beat, but then it was like, that's it. Like that was it. So Heatmakers, during their days making beats for Dipset, they had so many beats that they were making. It was quite remarkable, the beats that they had and how they were just putting them out. Just over and over and over again. For Jim Jones, Cameron, the whole Dipset, they did some for Lil Wayne. I mean, it was just, they were making stuff everywhere. I got a comment. Are you ready for Ja Rule versus Fat Joe? Let me see who that is. I am ready for it. I would rather it been, that's my man Courtney Harden. Thank you for that comment. I would rather it been obviously 50 Cent and Ja Rule, but Fat Joe came out and said that 50 doesn't want to do it. So, I mean, you can't blame the guy if he don't want to do it. He don't want to do it. So I think they had to come up with the next best thing. which it's kind of it is. But I'm looking forward to it. I love the versus concept. It started in the pandemic, which a lot of things started in the pandemic. Podcasts started in the pandemic. DJ Nice started doing his club quarantine in the pandemic. So I'm all here, all for it. I just would have wanted it to be 50 and Ja Rule. And then I don't know who would have been a better opponent for Fat Joe kind of during this time. It's not really anybody I can think of off the top of my head, but I think they did the best they could with kind of a second option. But obviously, we would have wanted to see 50 in Ja Rule. I think when it comes down to it, I think it's going to be pretty close. Ja Rule's got a lot of tracks. A lot of his tracks were with Ashanti. It was kind of those LL Cool J type tracks. Fat Joe had some of everything. So I'm actually leaning towards Fat Joe on this one. But I think it depends on what the setup is. If it's like the Locks and Dipset where they were performing and they were freestyling and everything, I don't know. It could go either way. I don't think it's any clear shot. And give me your thoughts on that, guys. You're tuning in. 50 Cent, Ja Rule or Fat Joe. Because that's coming up on the 14th. I'm thinking about doing a recap show. If you guys are possibly interested in that, I think that may be a cool show to do. Something I've been wanting to do, kind of do a recap after it's over. So we'll see if I have the time. Fat Joe got a lot of heat. Lean Back, remember that? That was a track that people still play now. So he's got a lot out there. Let's get back to AZ's album Doe or Die. So time to answer. Heatmakers, I was disappointed in the track. Obviously, AZ's flow is solid, but the production was not that good on that. So there's probably two tracks I don't really like. Found My Niche. That was a track by, I think that's Caesar Face. And this was another single that was on the track on the album. And I think too, he really talked about how, growing up, what he was doing in the cocaine era, and then he got into rap, and he was like, okay, I found something I can do. So I thought it was definitely a cool track. The last track on the album was What's Good. It was featuring T-Pain, produced by Rockwilder. This was another so-so track. I think the theme of the song, I think the beat, but it almost sounded like it wasn't mastered all the way. It honestly just sounded like, and they said it was a bonus track, so I don't know if that meant it wasn't fully done or if it was done and that's what it was supposed to sound like. I really don't know. But getting T-Pain on the track, I thought was dope. I think the concept of it was dope. I think the hook was dope. I just think the song sounded real. It sounded real muffled, like it wasn't mastered all the way. But I think the concept of the song was great. So overall, 13 solid tracks. Out of the 13, I would say I wasn't a huge fan of, I think, 3 of them. But that's great. Out of 13 tracks, this was one of those you could definitely ride to and listen to all of them. But if I had to skip, I probably would have skipped 3 of them. So I'll say 10 out of the 13. Also, I'll say this. I thought it was this classic AZ. If anybody knows AZ or listen to any of his albums, this was classic AZ. The beats were on point. The features were on point. The features. He had Rick Ross on there, had Jaheim, which I haven't heard him on anything in a while, Lil Wayne, Conway, Dave East, Pete Rock, T-Pain. The features were quality. Punchlines were dope. So overall, I'm gonna give this album a 4. And this is the album I've been waiting on. A lot of us, honestly, a lot of people have been waiting on AZ to put out this part 2. So I think it lived up to the hype, 100%. So we got the verses coming up on Tuesday. We have some new albums dropping. I know Conway's looking to drop an album. We just had Kanye drop his. We just had Nas drop King's Disease 2. We also had Drake drop his latest album. I do have a review kind of Certified Lover Boy versus Donda. Which one do you like? It's a video that's up on the YouTube channel. I'm just gonna get in this for a minute. Drake, a lot of his albums, y'all can say if I'm wrong, if you don't agree. I think I'm right, but a lot of his albums sound alike. When an album drops by Drake, it has the same sound. There's not an album where you're like, wow, that sounded completely different from his last album. No, he has a sound and it works. Excuse me. He has a sound and it works wonderfully for him. But it's not creative. And a lot of people, I don't agree with a lot of stuff Kanye says, but musically, he is one of the most creative outside of the box artists ever. Drake stays in his box, in his lane, and it works. Him and Future to get together, it works. I get it. But I'm not, I was ready to hear this album. Obviously, it's called Certified Lover Boy, so it's going to be real rapping to the ladies, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's his lane. Honestly, I don't consider Drake a rapper. I consider him a pop artist that raps and sings. And so that is what it is there. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Late Night with BS3. Go back and listen and watch the beginning. My daughter was on. We reviewed a movie called Vivo, which is on Netflix. Then we talked about the Cowboys recapping week 1. They did lose. There's no such thing as a moral victory, but they played well enough to still win the game. I think they would have more than likely won the game if they would have been able to score in the red zone. And then we talked about AZ's newest album, Doe or Die II. We will be back next week. Next week, we'll be doing the fantasy football show. So we'll have myself and probably a lot of other guys on. We'll be taking your questions. Also, it'll be week 2 of fantasy. I'm hopefully looking forward to getting a dub this week 1. The week after that, we'll have Late Night with BS3. So we'll have a mixture of guests. May get my daughter back on. Maybe we review another movie. Have my cousin, Tracy Killian Styling, he'll be coming on. Obviously, we're going to talk some Cowboys. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to tune in Monday for the forecast. This week, we'll be reviewing the one and only Dick Gregory. That's a documentary on the one and only. It's on Showtime. Also, it's through Amazon, so you can find it there as well. But that's what we're going to be talking about coming up on Monday. I think that is going to be definitely 100% worth it. There's some things where you just need to watch because it's good for you to watch it. And I think that's definitely going to be one of those. So thank you for tuning in tonight. If you want to support BSC Radio, you can do it on YouTube with the $sign down below. You can support us with Super Chat or stickers. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, click that bell. Make sure to share wherever you're tuning in. Also, you can support via Cash App, $sign BSC Radio. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll be back on Monday with the forecast. And peace.